Now, today's session is all about leading an effective and engaging 15-minute team huddle. It's going to be quick to the point, 1 hour long. I'll quickly get through the next slide because y'all know I don't like to show things with my face on it, but here we are. So my name is Jessica Matley. I am representing Caltrin, the California Training Institute. Myself and my 4 other colleagues make up Caltrin. There's 5 of us, 6 of us now. And long story short, once upon a time in 2009, I worked for First Five San Diego, based out of the Children's Hospital as a care coordinator. And I had a front row seat to what Family Resources Centers did. As a matter of fact, Diane Storman and her team at the Exceptional Family Resource Center in San Diego taught me everything I know on what it looks like to provide wraparound service for a family in need. And I left the human service profession. I went into human resources for several years, arguably kind of the same. And then in 2020, I came back to the Children's Hospital to rejoin the Caltrin team. And so I bring with me some nerdy little certifications. I'm a Gallup certified strengths coach. I'm a master trainer through the Association for Talent Development. You put all of that in a box, you shake it up, and I have the opportunity to come to you as staff members of family and child serving organizations and provide strategic, we'll say tools, tips, resources on how to lead and develop a team. So this discussion is nothing short of that. This is about leading a team in a 15-minute huddle. All right, that's enough about me. I need to know about you. If you would tell me in the chat, where are you joining from? So these are the counties that we serve through Caltrin, but you might be from outside those counties. I still love you. It's okay. Just tell me in the chat, where are you joining us from? Lake County, welcome. Hi, Ventura. Hi, Kern. Santa Cruz. Oh, I visited you this year for the first time. I loved it. I see Butte, Alameda, San Francisco, Riverside. Wonderful. Wisconsin. Listen, for anyone that doesn't know, I have the biggest crush on the state of Wisconsin. They have such incredible resources out there. Wonderful. Okay, so grateful for everybody. I'm representing Southern California. So I'm down here in San Diego area, and I'm excited for everybody that's here. You don't have to be, oh, look at people from Georgia. Wonderful. You don't have to be knowledgeable in the area of huddles to attend this training, but let me walk you through what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the benefits of conducting a team huddle. And for some of you, you're still like, Jess, what's a huddle? We're getting there. Don't worry. Review the differences between a team meeting and a team huddle. As the kids say, same, but different. They're cousins. They kind of follow in the same circles, but they have 2 very different purposes. We're going to talk about tips and strategies for developing an effective and engaging team huddle, specifically around the agenda of what are you going to talk about. And then today we're going to develop a plan. How are you going to facilitate your next 15-minute team huddle? I'm going to give you some resources to help you figure that out today, and I'm going to make you leave with a plan. You didn't come here just to watch me talk. You came here for some strategies that you're going to use, and I'm going to make you use it in this call. So I'm going to save plenty of time for that. We'll have some time for Q&A. I am a very active, welcome Jordan. I'm a very active trainer. So I'm a trainer by trade. If you drop things in the comments, I'll see them. So if you have questions as we go, pipe them in there. If I can't talk about it right then and there because it's coming up, I will let you know. So what is a huddle? What is it? Why is it? How is it? When is it? All the things about first defining the why. Well, here's the deal. Let's talk about the purpose. Okay, let's start there. Why do a team huddle at all? Because some of you are thinking, we do a team meeting. I do one-on-ones. Isn't that enough? My question is, it depends. It might be. It might be if your team meetings in one big group format, if your one-on-ones are covering all of the things, all of the purposes for a team huddle, then maybe you don't need one. But let's look at this to see if maybe you do. I think of it almost like a checklist. Here are a few reasons why folks would use a shorter meeting, we call it a huddle, instead of a formal team meeting. Couple reasons why. First of all, team huddles are designed to be brief, focused meetings that bring a team together, a group together. It could be a department, it could be a a whole team, that's kind of up to you, to align goals, share updates, discuss challenges, and foster collaboration. This is where people get to interact with each other, especially your remote employees. They're usually conducted on a regular basis, like daily or weekly, and they typically last for a very, very short duration. Short duration. They're incredibly focused and short. I need you to remember that. So here are a few reasons why somebody might facilitate a team huddle. It's great for alignment. Team huddles provide a platform, a space for team members, colleagues to align their efforts towards common goals and objectives. So, this is where people might come together to share important updates, discuss priorities on the team, clarify expectations, making sure that this huddle gets everybody on the same page and working towards the same vision. It's supposed to be small and short for that reason. It's also providing some informed sharing, which means facilitating that timely and efficient exchange of information within a team. My background, I told you, was human resources. I supported 917 staff members in an organization across 20 departments. And so every single team did a different kind of huddle. Some teams were talking about volume, some teams were talking about important updates. It really depends on your team and what would be important that is efficient, timely information that you might need your staff to know that day. This promotes, of course, transparency and ensures that everybody has access to the same and necessary information. For example, let's say that there is a family resource center that is offering a diaper pickup. They're offering, or it's a food drive today or this week. A huddle's a great place to remind the staff, hey, everybody, don't forget that our partner family resource center is offering a diaper drive this weekend. So let's make sure that we identify families today and tomorrow that we might need to contact. It's just reminding people of the most relevant, pressing issues that are coming in their line of sight, either that day, that week, is what I typically see. A team huddle is also great for collaboration and problem solving. It creates an opportunity for team members to see each other, get together, problem solve together. Sometimes it's discussing a particular challenge, looking for input from a team, sharing ideas. This is where team members can leverage their knowledge, their expertise, and find solutions to help them make informed decisions. So it might be, hey, everybody, listen, I have a quick question for the team. Does anybody know where I can find clothing resources for teenagers? Does anybody have a good resource? And we look around each other and someone goes, oh, you should check Rebecca's Closet on Fifth Avenue. And someone says, thank you, I'm going to write that down. Now we all have that information. We were able to quickly provide it in a relevant and timely manner. Huddles also allow people to build relationships because I don't know about you. It could just be me, but don't you think it's become a little bit of a challenge to have some level of remote meetings as far as the collaboration or seeing people? If you are in a hybrid team, let me know. I'll also say, even in the workplace, let's be honest. Can we be so real right now? You're doing more work with less people. If you're doing more work with less people, say me in the chat. Or maybe you just have so many staff members, you don't have enough work for them. Then you're a unicorn, because I don't know anybody like that in any industry. Look at all these people are like, yes, we're doing more with less. And tell me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not about this one. If you're doing more with less, it's also eating into your relationship building time. Am I right? Like those days of like popping into the cubicle next to you and being like, hey, Jess, what are you doing this weekend? Nobody got time for that. And so huddles are kind of a strategic way of getting people together and building that sense of team. That is the purpose, one of the many purposes of a huddle. It's just getting some face to face. I don't care if that's on a screen because we're doing it via Zoom. It gives us some time to connect with another person on the team. So I think it is a great relationship builder. On top of that, there's some accountability here because it provides a place for team members to report progress, discuss obstacles, give some feedback, encourages individual responsibility. If we are all planning a birthday, okay, I listen, that's you're like, we don't do that. We're doing some like hard work. I know. But let's say we're planning an event and we're on a team to do that. If we're not having quick check-ins, how do we know that it's getting done? How can you keep accountability for your team to say, hey, everybody, as a reminder, your evals, your self performance evals are due this Friday. Today is Monday. If you've got any questions, you got to ask me by Wednesday so that we can get those, or hey, everybody, I see that half of the team has completed the training. Remember, it's due on Friday. These are just the reminders that people need sometimes to hold some accountability. And lastly, but not leastly, there is continuous improvement. It creates an opportunity for reflection, discussing successes, challenges, lessons learned. This is also a good place to do some bite sized learning and sharing. All of these can happen in a huddle. So if you see at least one of these that you think would be helpful for your team, that you would use a small, short, brief, focused huddle for, which one is it? Will you tell me? You could just type it in. You could say alignment, information sharing, collaboration, relationships, accountability, or continuous improvement. Just drop it in the chat. I want to see which one would help you the most. Casey, would you mind sharing the note-taking slides for a participant, please? Thank you. I saw your note. Yep, I agree. The information, all of them, right? Yeah. And there's a way that you can structure them. Thank you, Casey. Collaboration, wonderful. All right. So there are some benefits here. Let me ask you, tell me in the chat, what do you think is the benefit of having a short, brief meeting? What kinds of benefits would it be to the team? Like, why do it in the first place? What do you think? How is it beneficial to do a shorter, focused meeting instead of your weekly, bi-monthly annual meeting? The team will pay attention. Yes, Carol. I'm a trainer and I get distracted and I know better. Yeah. Strong team focus, attention span, absolutely. Focused. Yep. Busy schedules. That's right. Because we don't have the time to sit in a 2-hour meeting every day. Yeah. I love it. Elizabeth, so many people I'm sure are going to connect to that because you're doing a lot of field work. You're not in the office and time is valuable in your department. Absolutely. So here's a few. For the sake of time, I'll run through these quickly because you said so many of them. Time efficiency, because the shorter huddles allow teams to save time by minimizing the amount of meetings you got to be in. Long meetings, right? Which means productivity is being impacted positively. There's an increased engagement because they're shorter and they're more focused. Team members are more likely to stay engaged in that meeting. They know they've only got to do it for a little bit. They're not there for an hour, and they can actively participate. I'll show you how. There's some focused topics that you can really lean into. These focused objectives and these focused topics help the team maintain a clear direction and avoid unnecessary tangents. This helps in not just the focus, but also makes it easier to streamline decisions, find solutions effectively. The shorter huddles make sure that everyone understands the purpose and the outcomes of the meeting, which makes the meeting more effective and aligned. I like that when you go somewhere and you know that this is what we're going to be talking about, and you're not there to talk about everything that's happening in the organization, but this one specific topic, it's much easier to pull it back when it starts to bunny trail off to who knows where. And you can be like, wait a minute, we're here to talk about this thing. We can talk about that thing at another time. There's also enhanced productivity because it streamlines communication and eliminates time-consuming discussions that may not directly contribute to the team's goals. If I am looking for teenage clothing resources in the community, you can send an email to everybody and wait for them to get back to it. And then you have that disgusting email chain in your inbox. You know what I mean? Where someone's like, what about this one? What about this one? You had one question and it cost Huddle is a great place to ask, get a response, and then make your next move, which I appreciate. All right, we also have shortened response times. In the same vein, it reduces the time spent in meetings, which means less time in meetings is more time in your work. And lastly, but not leastly, it reduces meeting fatigue. Y'all, we love our teams, right? Like we love hanging out with our teams, but enough is enough sometimes with meetings. And I think that a huddle helps eliminate very long, drawn out meetings every day, every week, so that you can be focused more in the work than sitting around the discussion table. So, you've seen that cup that says, this meeting could have been an email. Well, sometimes the meeting could have been a huddle. And so this is not just for you, this is for your teams. I believe everybody would benefit. So, what is the difference between a team huddle and a team meeting? This is important. You got to know they're same, but different. I have a visual. When I think about the difference between the two, these images come to mind. On the left, we have a quick huddle on a football field. You know what they're not doing? They're not saying, hey, everybody, we're going to go to the locker room for a little bit. We'll be back. We just got to look at some tapes and then figure out what we're going to do. Bye. No, absolutely not. The captain or the quarterback or the coach comes out and says, hey, this is what we're doing on the next move. This is what's going on. Ready? Break. That's the spirit of a team huddle. Let's quickly strategize and go. Let's quickly make a decision and act on it. They're not talking about, all right, everybody, have we thought about who we want to draft next year? That's not what they're talking about on the field. That's not what you should be talking about in a huddle, not long-term strategy, short-term decision making. Now, on the right, what we have is a team in an office. Look at them. They got their pens out. They have their coffee. They're there to talk for a while. They're there to maybe decide longer term strategy. So you tell me in the chat. You tell me in the chat whether we're talking about a meeting or a huddle. If I need to have a discussion with the team and the conversation topic is quick and specific updates, is that a meeting or a huddle? Tell me in the chat. A huddle, absolutely. What about if we're going to have a comprehensive discussion about our mission or values? What do you think that should be? A team meeting. Yep, you got it. Yep. I love you. Super efficient said M for meeting. I'm into it. Okay. What about a brainstorming session? A detailed analysis maybe of engagement rates and a brainstorming session of how to fix that. A meeting. Now, I've heard people say it depends. Brainstorming could be a huddle, but it's timed. It's timed. We've got this is a 3-minute, like stream of consciousness brainstorming on something specific. But if we're talking about, for example, Caltrin, when we look at our trainings every year, me and the team I'm on, we sit together for hours, y'all, in January. After the Chadwick conference, actually, we do at the end of that week a 4 or 5 hour brainstorming session on what do we want next year to look like. So that is not a huddle. All right. I think you got the point. So how long do you think a huddle should be? Tell me in the chat. So we know that it's quick, efficient, short. How much time should it be? I see 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, 15. All right, y'all are y'all looking at my notes? Because you're correct. A team huddle is if you're being very specific. In general, I think 15 minutes is the sweet spot. I don't think it should be 5 minutes more, 5 minutes less. So I would put it at like a 10 to 20 minute max and min max. But it's supposed to be quick and to the point. A team meeting, however, I always say, listen, your team meeting could be 30 minutes. Your team meeting can be 5 hours. It depends on your team. A team huddle is conducted more frequently because the updates are urgent or relevant and necessary to the work for that day or those next couple of days. So they're happening a little bit more frequently to meet the current need. A team meeting, however, can be scheduled less frequently, weekly, monthly, depends on what you're talking about. A team huddle's designed for quick updates, coordination, and alignment. Think about that football analogy where people come onto the field and they're like, okay, what do we want to do on this next play? You go left, you go right. Don't judge me. I don't know those lingo. You go left, you go right. Ready? Let's do that. They're not saying, okay, after halftime, what do you think we should be? No, that's not relevant for that moment. Think about team huddles as being action, act, action, act, like very doing and less theoretical. That's where your team meetings will take care of the comprehensive discussions, presentations, longer term decision making. Team huddles are sometimes a smaller group or a core team. So you might be in an organization that has 5 different departments. Each one of them can lead their own huddles. An all staff meeting is kind of intense to do a huddle with, to be honest with you. It can be done, but it's kind of intense. Involvement of larger groups or team members is typically what a meeting is for, because you got to collaborate and pull in other people. A huddle is highly focused. An agenda is the world is your oyster. It might be different every time. The team huddle is good for swift sharing and getting information out, promoting that immediate action, accountability, and problem resolution. A team meeting can be involved or can involve detailed reporting, analysis, and brainstorming. I might have a few more. How many more do I have? Just these two. The team huddle does encourage quick chats. Rapid response team meeting is more for in-depth problem solving strategy. What's our next 5 moves versus what's our next 5 days? Okay. So let's talk about some ways to develop an effective huddle here. What's the best way to develop a huddle agenda? Well, there's a few ways that you can dissect those 15 minutes to work for you and work for your team. Here are a couple slides to help you do that. First, you got to figure out what you want to talk about. Why are you having the huddle? If you cannot tell me what the goal or the outcome of your huddle is, please don't have one. Please don't do it. Because you know what, people, they may not say it, but they're going to think, what was that for? What was the purpose of that? So before you go into it, you might want to ask yourself, are we here to share updates? Are we here to address urgent issues? Maybe make some time sensitive decisions? Is there any type of challenges that we can quickly brainstorm as a group? Or maybe this huddle is to connect. And that's it. Wait, Jessica, Matley, are you trying to tell me that you want me to take 15 minutes from my employees' days to sit around and connect for 15 minutes? Yeah, I am. Because I have a sneaky suspicion you work in a mission-driven organization, and there's probably a lot of relationship builders there. So if you and your team are never connecting or having any opportunity to connect, and you wonder why your retention rate is so low, ding, 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 I promise you, because I talk to so many folks like you, I know that they value sometimes the opportunity to engage with other humans on their team. So, yes, a huddle sometimes can be 15 minutes to sit around. Hey, how are you? How's it going? Is there any big things that we have? If not, great. I have maybe an icebreaker, a conversation topic, a quick pair and share activity just to kick off her day. All right, everybody, like you're doing the hard work, get out there. Sometimes the captain on the football team pulls the team together just to say, hey, we've got this. All right, let's go. Let's get back out there. It's effective for people that may not be, that may not have that area of what we call it strength, the relationship building. If that's not the one that you lead with, that's okay. You're probably incredibly effective, but you're missing the folks on your team that need it. This is a way to also help meet needs. Just saying, tell me if I'm wrong. People are more focused during the meeting. Absolutely, Myra, I agree. Okay, so the huddle preparation, I would advise that you prepare an agenda and maybe even distribute that agenda in advance. If people show up to a meeting and they don't know what's going to happen in the meeting, they can't prepare for it. So when you say, hey, does anybody have this resource? People are like, oh, I don't have it on me. I'll have to get back to you. So now I've turned what should have been a quick share into a more lengthy follow up. I might say, here's some of the things that we're going to talk about, new resources that are coming out, any events that you know in the community, bring what you know, and people are able to show up prepared. And I will say, tell me if this is you, just say me in the chat. There are some of you people that are very organized and structured, and you might have a saying that you didn't know you had. It's called no agenda, no attenda. That means if you are going to a meeting and you don't know what it's about, you're already stressed out about it. You're like, what's the purpose here? So if you're somebody that I see some of your emojis coming through. If that's you, say me in the chat. But a lot of people do prefer to know what is going to happen before I get there. Yeah. Now, allocating time for the agenda item, this one is going to be flexible. Some days you're going to nail it. Some days you're going to feel like you pressed for time a little bit. It's a learning lesson. It's okay. But you might need to estimate how much time do I need to dedicate to this topic to make sure that we can stay on track and stay on schedule. Now, I have some recommendations for you that I'm going to bring up here in a second. But let me show you the structure that I would recommend. I would highly advise for your huddle to be the most effective. Think about these as rules of engagement for a huddle. There should be an established time limit and an enforcer. I love an enforcer. Do you know who the enforcer is? We say, hey, everybody, here's our agenda item. We're going to stick to 15 minutes. We have 5 minutes to discuss this thing, 5 minutes to discuss that thing, and then we have a 5-minute open discussion. Hey, Jessica, would you mind keep an eye on the time? We're set for 5 minutes. Ready, go. And Jessica goes, let me put it on my phone. Got it. As the team is in the conversation, they're getting all these wild ideas or they're sharing resources. Jessica's saying, all right, everybody, we have a minute left. At the end of that minute, people still want to go. As a leader, you say, all right, that's our time. It sounds like there's been a lot of discussion around this. Either I'm going to add this to our meeting where we can dive into it, or Casey and Jennifer, I see that you two have a lot of great ideas with each other. Can you connect offline? What I'm not going to do is turn a 5-minute discussion into a 15-minute discussion, and all my entire huddle is out the window. Make it fun. Get an actual timer. Some of you might remember the timers, like the sand timers, like from Days of Our Lives. Get one of those. Put it on the desk if you have to. If you're virtual, Zoom offers online timers that will actually go in the background so people can see how much time is left. Get some structure around it. Do not let this huddle get away from you, or else it won't make any sense that you did it in the first place. Set ground rules for effective communication. Hey, everybody, we're going to start this new thing called Huddles. Here are the rules. We stick to the time. These are brief discussions. Anything that goes longer than 5 minutes is either going to go on our next meeting, or I'm going to ask you guys to follow up about it. Encourage concise and focused discussion. Because you know what? Listen, I'm a bunny trailer. I don't know about you. I'll be in a conversation. I'm just very imaginative. So if I'm in a discussion with you, all of a sudden we're talking about Italy for no reason, and now we are somewhere we weren't supposed to be. Concise and focused discussion, especially with the huddle, means that we don't have time for that. We have to keep it on track so that we can be very focused. Now, maybe we do 5 minutes of relationship building. I can talk about it there, but not outside of that, not for a huddle. A structure also I'd recommend is delegating responsibilities to minimize distractions. So Casey, you're going to note take for me. Jennifer, you're going to keep a time. Monica, you are going to come up with a list of the things that we commit to as action items. And Sophia, you're going to lead the icebreaker next week. Sometimes giving people a job in the meeting, make sure that they are a little paying attention. You know what I mean? It's hard to be scrolling on Instagram when you have to be taking notes for your team. Just saying. All right, so some of the roles I might recommend: a facilitator, somebody to create the agenda and manage the progress. That should be you in the beginning. Don't delegate that. That's got to be you. But maybe you have someone on your team that would be a great facilitator for, a meeting. Maybe it's a sign up and different people take different weeks to facilitate. It's an incredible public speaking opportunity, by the way, which is a leadership building quality. It's an opportunity for everybody to take some ownership in the meeting. Note takers to record those key decisions. I see Jessica in the chat. It looks like you love sending the agenda in advance. Same. And you said send a review after. And that would be like an opportunity for something the note taker would do. So I love that. Timekeeper, somebody to allocate times and make sure that everybody's time is respected. A parking attendant. A parking attendant is the person who says, hey, it sounds like this is a great topic that's not on the agenda. Hey, this is a great conversation I hear that's not on the agenda. I'm going to put that in the parking lot. And if we have time to talk about it, we will. If not, that's going to go into a team meeting. And then lastly, an action advocate. Those are the people that say, all right, so what's the next step? Somebody comes up with an idea. Somebody says, we should do this. We should try that. We're not going to let that idea die here. We're going to have an action advocate to say who's going to take that and when. When is that due by? What's going to happen next? To make sure that people don't get frustrated throwing out ideas. Yes, we dropped, sorry, I saw a note in the chat. We dropped links to these slides earlier. We might be able to drop them again, but they'll also be in the follow-up email. And then here are the Huddle challenges. Some of the challenges you might face with trying to get these started. People might have some resistance to change. What? No. Humans? No way. I promise. They're going to be like, another meeting? And they're going to freak out about it until they figure out that it's so much more helpful to their life to have quicker meetings, because then your team, quicker huddles, because team meetings then aren't going to be so long. Some other challenges that you might see, managing distractions. People might be distracted in these calls. You got to set those ground rules. Give them a job. Time constraints. People are short on time. They're like, I don't have 15 minutes. If you don't have 15 minutes in your workday, if you do not have 15 minutes in your workday to jump onto a structured meeting, and it's not because you have like an emergency, things like that happen. I mean, when you plot out your day, you could not find 15 minutes. I promise you that's a priority issue. It's a priority management issue, I should say. It's not a time management issue. Fostering inclusion. One way to make sure you overcome the challenge of one person doing all the work is rotate their responsibilities. And lastly, use technology. Leverage tools that allow virtual participants like us, Zoom folks, to share and collaborate. Zoom's got a lot of them. I don't know. Are y'all Zoom or Teams? Tell me in the chat. Are you like a Zoom group or a Teams group? Does anybody remember WebEx? I was a WebEx gal. Teams. Man, I'm not a Teams fan. Can I be so honest? I love Microsoft. I don't like Teams. Google Meets? Okay. All right, so let's talk about a plan, shall we? I created a document for you because we care about you. And I don't want you to waste time having to go search every corner of the internet on how to do a huddle. I made one. It looks like this. And we're going to drop that right into the chat for you. This, I actually can drop it right into the chat for you. It looks like this. Actually, yeah. I'm going to drop this one. Okay. This is a PDF. This PDF, you can click on it and download it. This PDF is a document you can print. You can use forever and all time. It is so basic of a document. I think you should make your own, but this was just to give you some examples. If I was doing a huddle tonight, well, tomorrow, what I would do is I might recommend 3 sections that you focus in on. Think about the purpose of the huddle and why you want it. It does not mean that every time I go into a huddle, I need to fill in each of these areas. But this is a great reminder for areas that are available to me. As a matter of fact, if I walk into a huddle and these are completely stuffed every time, there's no way. Number one, there's no way you're having team meetings because what are you talking about? You talked about all of it in your huddle. And number two, how are you doing it in 15 minutes? So I think of this almost as a roadmap. Choose your own adventure. Choose what you want. So think about this first topic or this first. Ooh, do I have my laser pointer? It's my favorite thing. Please let me do it. I'm going to do this one. Great. Inform. So the inform area is where we're going to talk about what's happening, who is needed. Think about the logistics of the team. So maybe what we're going to talk about is volume and needs. Hey, for this day, do we have coverage during these busy times? Or we have something coming up? What does the volume look like? We have X amount of families coming in. Hey, Jessica, how many families are coming to the you should be able to save it. If not, we're going to drop it into your follow-up email. Oh, you can't save it? How funny. It must be a security feature because of the children's hospital that we're connected to. Well, you can open it and I'll make sure that we send it out to you. What exactly are the volumes and needs? So some people might say, oh, by the way, for anyone asking, we will be sending, oh, Casey, okay. Hey, guess what? You can't, oh, some people can save it, some people can't. This is what we'll do. We're going to send you a copy in the follow-up email anyway. Casey, if there's any way we can make it a link, that would be super great. And Casey is going to be working on that in the background while I'm talking about the document. Look at her. Casey, thank you so much. Can we say thank you to Casey all out there working for us in the background? Okay, so we might be talking about volumes and needs. We're going to talk about today's flow. As a reminder, here are the groups that we have coming in today. Here are the times that these things are happening today or tomorrow. We're going to talk about shift priorities. Hey, who's covering this thing today, tomorrow? Do we have enough coverage for this? That, hey, we have our admin out today. Who's going to cover the front desk so that when people walk in, they're not just like on their little lonely island and nobody's there to greet them? Are there any special announcements or events that we need to talk about today, tomorrow, this week? Those are the inform sections. It's kind of like the breaking news of your team. I might also have opportunities to educate. That's where I'm going to build some knowledge, reinforce the values, offer maybe a little learning moment here and there. So it might be resources and services. Hey, what are the new resources in town? Or as a reminder, the food bank is going to be closing early on this day. So don't send families because when they get there, it'll be closed. Hey, there's been a new change here. By the way, there's a new person that's working at the Family Resource Center down the street. Her name is Haley. She's amazing. Here's her direct extension. These are things that I might mention so that people are aware of the most breaking news about resources and services that I'm offering to families or that I'm recommending to them. You're not going to invite a nerdy trainer like me to a call like this and think I'm not going to talk about staff development as part of your huddle. It totally can be. So I'll give you a small example. I've seen huddle staff development look, I want to think specifically for your industry. Everything from how are we answering the phone, right? Like, do we have a script that we use? I've seen it from, hey, everybody, look, it's been a really stressful quarter. I wanted to introduce you to something called what do they call it? You guys probably know. It's like the square breathing or something like that. It's like some kind of technique. For the person on the line that said they were all into breathing, I need your advice. There's probably some kind of box breathing. Thank you. So the box breathing might be something that I introduce to my team. Hey, everybody, there's this great thing. Maybe it's something you can share with families, but I wanted to share it with you. It's called box breathing. This is going to take 3 minutes. I want to show you how to do it. That's staff development. Hey, everybody, we had this situation happen that didn't go well with a family. Let's dissect this together. Let's learn from it. What do we want to do differently? That's staff development. Hey team, there is a Caltrin session coming up on this particular protective factor of parental resilience. Just wanted to remind y'all that great time to sign up. There's still room for you. staff development. Cross-team collaboration. I want you to think about somebody on another team in your organization you could invite in for a little show and tell. Why not? Why not? You work with them all the time. Do you know what each other do with each other? Oh my gosh, Casey. She just sent me a message. She has a little treat for y'all. If you could drop those if you would drop the blank one, that would be amazing. And thank you. So the staff development, cross team, first of all, can we give it up? Casey has dropped a PDF version, a downloadable version for you. That link should work. If that link does not work, then your organization has blocked our site. I don't know why. You need to talk to IT about that. So cross-team collaboration is a chance for you to build relationship with other departments. Think about inviting them in for a huddle, a quick little update. Just saying. You can also visit their huddles. And lastly, but not leastly, this inspire. You want to know why? Because your jobs are not easy. There were a lot of jobs to choose in this life. You did not choose an easy one. You know that. It's easy to forget, and you think that it should be easy and it's only hard for you. False. You chose a tough job. And I think sometimes when you're in it, you're really in it. It helps to know or be reminded that you're doing this for a reason, that there are real people that are impacted by the work that you do, and that you're doing it with people to your left and right in your organization. Inspiration, do not discount how valuable it is to pull people together sometimes just to give them a reminder that they've got this and that there are resources if they're feeling big feelings. So that might be welcoming new team members. If you are in a huddle with your team and there's somebody there you don't know, that's not typical. Like, you need to say, hey, this is so-and-so. This is what they're doing here. We want to welcome this newest member of our team. That's what you can do in these sessions. You can recognize folks. Maybe there's a staff recognition for something that they've done, some kind of merit, or maybe they are celebrating a work anniversary. Maybe you want to give a little gratitude or shout out. So, hey, give people a chance to thank each other, and maybe a word of encouragement. Maybe it's a quote. Maybe it's a testimonial, a story from something that has happened in your organization that directly and positively impacted someone's life. Share that. Do you include all these sections in one huddle? Up to you. I saw your note. If you have enough to fill in for everyone, then yes, you can. But you need to be very specific with the time that you got. If this is 15 minutes, this will probably take you 5 or 6. This will probably take you 5 or 6. This is going to take you 4 or 5. It is your option, and every huddle might look different. Some weeks might be all information, maybe, and a quote. The next day, we're going to focus on staff development, and that's it for 15 minutes. So depending on how often you're doing these, you can decide how much time each one is. So I was on a team once. We did 2 weekly, excuse me, I have hiccups now. Let me drink water, coffee. I typically don't stand during meetings. I hope I didn't get myself the hiccups. I'm okay. So I was on a team once that there were 2 huddles per week. On a Monday huddle, this is what we focused on. Big time. What do we have going on this week? I was on an HR team, so things were always like moving. But on Wednesday, because we had already come up with a week, like this is what's happening, Wednesday was all about staff development. So every Wednesday for years, we would sit around and do some 15-minute staff development huddle. And different people would lead it on different weeks. We would talk about forms. We would learn different ways to say things, challenges that our team members were coming up with and how to respond, conflict management. Choose your own adventure. It's such a fun adventure to have too. So we have inform, educate, and inspire. I want you to think about, would you do all 3 every time? Would you choose Mondays for inform, Wednesdays for educate? Maybe I try to include an inspire each time. Here's an example I wanted to show you. I filled out. And so I made one that has examples. And Casey, the bestest look at her in the Southwestest over here, making links for us. This is just an example of what it would look like. And it doesn't have to look like this every time. You can take what you need, but I wanted to show you what it would look like. So for volume, I know, Casey, the best. So for volume, it might be a snapshot of how many families are coming in today, any scheduled programming or important visitors, reminders about key priorities. So for example, mention and remind all walk-ins about the backpack drive next Tuesday. We're just reminding folks. Any events that are coming up, resources, like, hey, everybody, don't forget there's a new question on the intake form for our funder. Don't skip it. Staff development could be anything, referral criteria, reminding to set out of offices, which our director just did, probably because I forget. Cross team collaboration, like using the whiteboard in the shared space of your break room. This is let's try this new thing. And again, might be introducing new people, recognizing them, and setting some intentions. Which one of these topics are you going to do? That is up to you. So fun. It's your own adventure. Now, let me tell you, there are some things that we can do to plan for your huddle. Like, remember, we might want to do a little welcome and intro for a minute. This is like a sample. Maybe you do a quick icebreaker. Maybe a team update under that inform section. Maybe priority discussions would be that inform section. Or it could also be the educate section. Action items and accountability. That might be the job of your accountability person. Wrap up in next steps. That's 15 minutes and it moves fast. That's why it has to be focused, specific, and monitored. If you let it get away from you, your 15 minutes, I promise are going to turn into 30. And then people are not going to be happy about it because you said 15 minutes. And if you can't get through everything in 15 minutes, you've got too much that you're talking about. Some of those things don't need to be said. Those things are meetings things. So before we take any steps further, I need you to start plotting this out. I want you to tell me if you were going to do a huddle this week. Let's say you're going to do a huddle next week. Okay, we'll make it easy for you. You're going to start one next week. How long would your huddles be? And what day of the week would you do it? Tell me in the chat. Like Monday morning from 8:15 to 8:30. All right, Carissa, what time? All right, so we have a 10 a.m., 9:45 to 8. Great. 7:45 to 8. Great, Carissa. All right, Jenna, I see you. A midday is great. Kimberly, a Monday morning is great. Wando, I see. Yep. Elizabeth, yep. Vanessa. Jordan's a good one. Now, if you were going to do that huddle, let's say you started the first huddle on that date. Tell me one thing you would talk about as think of it as an agenda item. What's something you would talk about with your team that would be helpful, relevant? They'd feel like they were like, oh, okay, I see why we were here. What would you talk about? You're welcome to use this. I left this on the screen for a reason. What would it look like? What would you talk about? Would you talk about the flow of the day, the flow of the week, staffing, resources, a staff development? Great. I see priorities for the week. I love that. Monthly data points. So you might be saying, hey, here's where we're at, y'all. This is where we're at on August 5th. Yep. Project alignments, current client issues, which are great. You'll have to put a timer on that one. Upcoming move, love it. Flow of the week, icebreaker, and goals for the week. I love that. And maybe tell them the icebreaker in advance. My favorite icebreaker to do when I was on a team that we did in-person huddles, we would say, hey, for the next one, bring an item that blank. So bring your favorite mug. And so we were able to like, here's my mug. And I didn't have to be like, oh, I'm so bad at these questions. There's no question. You had to come prepared. All right. Set icebreakers. Explain why a huddle is needed. Yes. So this would be, I love it, the inspiration. Any tips for leadership setting with directors across multiple programs that don't interact but could? Yeah, I love that question. I believe that you cannot lead people to a place that you're not willing to go. The best way to include other leaders in your huddle is to have a successful huddle model. Show them that it works and why. And you can't say, like, I'm thinking about doing this thing, and then they see it all messy and they're like, no, girl, no thanks, I'm out. Instead, say, we want to invite you over to check out this huddle. It's been working for us. Show them something that works. And that will be the best way to get directors across multiple programs doing it with you. So I've asked you to think about this because I'm going to challenge you now to make it a commitment. I'm going to ask you to commit. Your next steps are going to be to commit to, I'll pull it up one more time. We are sharing this. We've shared the link in the chat, but we also are sending it in the follow-up email. I'm asking for the dates that you said that you would do a huddle. That is your next huddle date. Maybe if it's better for you, for your next team meeting, I don't know, for your next team meeting, put team huddle as one of the topics and say, we're starting this new thing. Or schedule the huddle, bring donuts so people are excited to be there, and tell them this. Let me tell you what this huddle thing is and why we're doing it. It is going to save you so much time and productivity. And it feels counterintuitive because it's another meeting on the calendar. But the amount of emails that's going to save you, being able to get those things out quickly in a group, the amount of engagement that your team is going to feel being in a space that they can predictably be. Don't be changing those huddles around all the times on different days. Keep it standard so that they know what time it is. If your team is off-site, do you think I should go in person or hold it virtual? Oh, I love this. If you're managing them as an off-site manager, I might say, number one, do you have to be there? Because you might not, I don't know. If you do have to be there and you typically meet with them virtually, maybe do it like that. But if you have the opportunity to see them in person, that's great. Now it's 15 minutes. So if you're willing to make the drive for a 15-minute discussion, that's on you. But I think you can totally hold it virtually. And if you want to do, like, once a month, once a quarter in person, that makes sense. You're practicing this team huddle model on Monday. Can we clap it up, Derek? Because this is how you take things from idea to implementation. I like to say that Caltrin, we're not really FYI folks. We don't like a for your information. We like a for your implementation. So in my opinion and in my experience, if you don't do anything with this information in the next, what day is it today? Tuesday? If you don't do anything with this information in the next 48 hours, doesn't mean you have to have a huddle in 48 hours, but it does mean you have to plan when it's going to be. Within the next 48 hours, if you don't have a date on the calendar, even if it's for next week, you are not going to touch this information again. I promise you that. And if you don't believe me, think about any trainings that you've been to that you didn't do something with within those 48 hours. You didn't do anything with it ever. So I'd highly encourage you to take this as a personal challenge. If you're interested in the huddle, run it once. See how it goes. You like it, keep it. You'll probably have to modify it. But I brought this to you as an effective strategy that I know works. And I hope it was helpful.